Hello and welcome. Today, let's look at the wake of the conventions. Coming out of the DNC and RNC, what we see is two parties on completely different sides of the aisle, with a chasm in between them, growing wider with each passing day. The DNC spews messages of hate and divide, pointing out how they are the party of opposition, with their only platform being Orange Man Bad. For the RNC, they show multiple different platforms while highlighting the greatness of America. Both sides do have their own perks, however, one for the DNC being the limited screen time of Biden with no real audience. This decreases the chance of a guffaw in a controlled environment. In contrast, Trump risked doing a Trumpism, such as Covfefe, speaking in front of a crowd, yet he managed to give one of his best speeches, just below his 4th of July speech at Mount Rushmore and his State of the Union speech for 2020. It is clear both sides were willing to really put their party on display and show their values. For me, the biggest parallel comes in who spoke at the conventions. None more hyperbolic yet true is when the DNC brought Bill Clinton to speak. A man who flew many times on the Lolita Express, with pictures depicting it. While the Democrats have not called out his actions, not even bringing it up to question, I hope the American public will. Yet in stark contrast, one of the most powerful speeches at the RNC comes from one Cuban immigrant, Maximo Alvarez, who tells the beauty of America and the hardships that his family and others go through to come to America. Yet, while that may be the biggest parallel, there are a few more that are just damnable. The I word was never brought up by the Democrats during their convention, even though just roughly over 6 months ago it was a hot button topic. Even worse, the riots which plague our nation and tear Americans apart viciously was not a real concern for the Democrats at all. Well, unless it impacts their polling. While the Democrats were vicious towards Trump, yet negligent of our own nation's woes, the Republican Party was focusing on unity. Many of the speeches at the RNC focused on helping every part of the community, such as the one shown during Tim Scott's speech that highlighted how opportunity zones are bringing in money into low-income neighborhoods, or how numerous other speeches all focused on school choice, which will benefit every single child in America. It's quite the contrast. Now, after the wake of the two conventions, America has been asked a question. Which party do you choose? Do you pick the party which asked to close down debates between presidents because of disagreement of views, when the debates are supposed to be fundamentally about discussing these differences in views? Or do you want to go with the party that pushed during their convention that America is not evil, that there's greatness within every American, and that America is still great? As Ronald Reagan said in his 1964 speech, A Time for Choosing, you and I are on a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. Trump is right. This is one of the biggest elections in the country and perhaps the world, as America seems to be the only one who will fight against the tyranny of China and all the atrocities they commit. So God bless America and have a great day.